What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back, and here I have a couple clips from the Human Rights Campaign Instagram account, one from MSNBC, one from The Daily Show, I believe, and these folks are trying to convince you that the people who might object to lopping the junk off kids are in fact the extremists, right? So everybody knows that none of these surgeries, none of these operations, these drugs, none of it's going to work. And if they wanted to be even the slightest bit honest, and this is me doing them a huge favor, they could say, well, we're trying to do sort of a science experiment to see if we can play God and change all of this stuff and we'll be in complete control. That's me being nice to them. Otherwise, it's completely and totally evil. We all know it's not going to work, and they silence people who regret this treatment. I wonder why they would do that, right? You see these little weird things that look like Beyond Meat, or you have the flesh pouch that obviously won't work. It's only made for the pleasure of some weirdo guy who is so diluted he thinks the flesh pouch is going to act like a natural woman. It's all completely disgusting, quite literally. It's painful, I'm sure. It does bleed, which I guess is part of what they want. The list goes on and on and on. The bottom line is that it's not going to work. And this woman apparently is a mother who is mad that she won't be able to trans her kid. And sure, fine, whatever. Do whatever you want. That's your kid, but leave it in your house. Do not keep forcing it on people. Don't try to sell it to everybody because we don't want it. It doesn't make sense. It's completely toxic. It's despicable. And honestly, if I had my way, you'd be in jail. You'd be away from people where they couldn't even get to, right? You guys constantly want to censor people. You want to shut down argument. I want to do the same thing, right? This ideology of hacking up body parts to make them into this pretend character that, and look, we all wish, we all have a wonderful imagination, right? Like, if I had it my way, I'm Jimmy Butler, right? Jimmy Butler is Eric Butler, and Eric Butler is Jimmy Butler, and now I'm going to the NBA Finals. It's all completely made up, but for whatever reason, this is the only thing that's malleable, right? Why is that? Why can't I not identify as another race? Why can I not identify as another age? For some strange reason, the only thing that you can change with the drop of a dime is your gender, even though it's the completely most unrealistic thing out of them all, because it's how we all exist. You wouldn't even exist if your parents were transgender. It doesn't make any sense, but we know without a doubt, without fail, every single time, one of their talking points or agendas will, of course, conflict with another one of their talking points or agendas when taking to its illogical conclusions. So let's see what this crazy lady who actually has a child has to say about the big, mean, right-wing Republicans or whatever who don't want to let her slice up her kid. I mean, these people are absolutely evil.
How is this affecting you and your family directly?
Well, my daughter will not have access to the healthcare that
daughter. So what she means is son that you gave birth to, and I assume you foisted it on him, or maybe a teacher foisted it on him, but we can say without a shadow of a doubt that this kid did not come up with it on his own. Maybe it was a friend, maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was a television show, maybe it was TikTok, maybe it was you, maybe it was the dad, who knows, but he didn't do it on his own.
that we know is life-saving, medically necessary, best practice.
Life-saving and medically necessary. That's all completely untrue. But as I've said 100 times, the only thing that has to happen for something to be true is for them to just say it. If I say it, it cannot be questioned. It is the unwavering truth, right? Like, my daughter needs life-saving, best practice medical care. It's all completely fake.
This care, our government has decided that they know better than the American medical
13 years old.
establishment.
What else can you not do at 13 years old, right? A laundry list of things that you're not allowed to do at 13 years old. But for some reason, you are allowed to pick your gender and mutilate your body, pump yourself full of hormones and drugs and all that kind of nonsense.
And every major medical association, then parents and physicians who specialize in this care in concert with our daughter. We know.
Yes, the people who specialize in this care, all while raking in big bucks, I'm sure.
What's best for our kid, and we don't expect our legislators to understand this, but they
but they did know when they were forcing people to take pharmaceuticals. That was completely different, right?
decided that they need to interfere in our personal lives to use our child as a political pawn.
Oh, interesting. You don't want people interfering in your personal life, except when it comes to. And look, I don't know this woman's background. Maybe she was completely not on board with the forced pharmaceuticals. Maybe she was completely not on board with the forced masking, right? But I doubt it. So it's funny how we don't want people involved in our personal lives when it comes to me chopping the junk off my little boy so that I can go on a talk show circuit. But I don't really care when they force me to put a couple shots in him of something that I'm sure he's going to live through anyways. I mean, this is completely ridiculous. And of course, as always, if you want to watch these clips without me screaming all over them, they're always linked in the description.
And it's really been infuriating, to say the least, especially in the hypocrisy of all of the parental rights that are being proposed by the far right. But
she got all the talking points. Parental rights, in air quotes, scare quotes. Is that like, oh, that's not a real thing. Parental rights, quote unquote. Give me a break, lady. The far right. Par for the course on MSNBC, though. I don't know why I let this stuff continue to surprise me.
It's only very specific parental rights because we are obviously not afforded those same rights.
Okay. Well, that was absolutely crazy. Triggering for me, to say the least. And look at her stupid smug face. Like, why can't I cut the junk off my little boy and go on this talk show circuit and drink wine all day and show him around like an accessory? This is ridiculous. And here's this other one from, listen to Mother Sasha Cohen when she says these anti-drag bills are dangerous. Of course it's dangerous because, as per usual, every single thing is always life and death. If we don't get our way, then somebody is going to get hurt and or die, and it will be all your fault. The blood will be on your hands. But when it comes to, abortion, we look the other way, right? So follow the science when it comes to forced pharmaceuticals and mask theater, but don't follow the science when it comes to basic biology. That is bigotry. And look how extreme they're going to frame this.
Anti-drag bills that they're starting to pass places. Has that affecting?
And it's always funny how they talk about all these drag bills that are passing everywhere. It's like, yeah, that should let you know. That should be a clear-cut sign that maybe, just maybe, you are in the small sliver fraction of a percentage of the population who thinks this is normal, right? So just because you're on TV doesn't mean you're in the majority. It means you somehow weaseled power. I don't know. So you somehow came into this power. And that can, I'm sure, be a video on its own, how these people got to wield so much power to the point where they're strong-arming baseball teams to let them perform. But that, of course, is a different story. I digress. Let's continue with how extreme these drag bills are. They're happening everywhere, and we don't stop to think for one split second that maybe it's us. Maybe it's not everybody else. Maybe we're the odd ones out. But this is the war we're in.
Where you can work?
Yes, I'm a little nervous to go to Tennessee, and I do have a booking there in like a month or so.
You could be committing crime.
I mean, technically, setting foot down there, I'm breaking the law for some reason, It's insane. This is what it's made for. I can't.
That's just not true. That's not how it works. But that's how they're going to inflate it. They're going to make it seem there's no way this person is going to get arrested for just setting foot in the state of Tennessee. That's not a crime. That's not what it says. Now, do I know the details of what it says? No. But I can almost guarantee you what this human, carbon-based life form, this human, I should say, is saying is that it's illegal for me to exist in the state of Tennessee, and that's just not true. That is just not true. But when we're on TV, I can say whatever I want, and nobody's going to fact check it because as long as I say it, that's enough to make it true.
Can't get out of drag. I'm trans woman.
Because you're a woman.
So also, this person is now equating drag and being trans, right? I was under the impression those are two completely different things, but apparently he says, she, they, them, ze, zim, zer says, I can't get out of drag. I'm a trans woman. So I mean, if I were to say that, I would be burned at the stake. But this person can say it because they're in the costume, right? They have access. There's another word I can think of that a certain group has access to that other groups don't have access to. And if they even accidentally utter them, they could lose their job. Different story.
I'm going to be breaking the law, and that's what they want.
Oh, because they're trying to
It's a
say
roundabout way to get trans people controlled. The wording is.
Oh, you want to talk about control, right? It's all about control, yes, and you want control of everybody else's thoughts. Anybody who doesn't agree with your agenda, they need to be fired, banned from social media. I mean, not literally, but they need to be dealt with as far as these people control. And this person wants to say they want control. I mean, the projection is real, bro. And sure, everybody wants control, right? I want control. I want to make the rules. I want to be president. I want to be king of the world. But it's so obvious what they're doing. They want control of everybody's thoughts. And as soon as somebody doesn't comply with, if somebody has a wrong a thought outside of their agenda, then they are the bad person. If they set up one rule or one regulation, then they want control. And I know it's apples to oranges, but I can't help but once again mention the idea that you guys had complete control when it came to masks and forced pharmaceuticals. And I can assume these people were on board with that. I don't know for sure, but it's pretty much par for the course, because we all know that you have to do all of the agendas. You can't pick and choose, because then you'll get thrown under the bus like Don Lemon.
Is if you're in an article of clothing that is not your assigned birth article of clothing, that's how they can roundabout say that drag is illegal, and then the real thing is being trans is illegal.
So with all these
No, that's an absolute lie. But of course, it will never be fact checked. Nobody will ever look into it. These weirdo people at the Daily Show or whatever talk show this is are just going to eat it up like the morons that they are and clap like seals and be angry at Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump or even Tim Scott, who, is black and can do no wrong. But we know it's never about any of this stuff for real. It's all about control. That's why it's so funny to hear this carbon-based life form say that they just want to control trans people, when it's quite clearly the other way around. You guys want control of everybody else's thoughts, and you want them to capitulate to your delusion. And when somebody says no, you get really mad about it and ask them why they care and why they're so hateful and so bigoted. It's because you flaunt it, you sell it to everybody. You're trying to force everybody to believe what you believe. You are trying to force a round hole into a square, a round peg into a square hole, I should say, and then get mad when somebody says, no, it doesn't fit, I don't like it. So, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.